Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. I hope you're doing well. My name is Bri and I'm so glad you're here. In this video, I just wanted to introduce myself, introduce my budget, show you what I'll be using to get back into cash stuffing. You may or may not recognize my voice or my hands, but I actually used to do cash stuffing a couple of years ago. My channel was very similarly named. What can I say? I'm not super creative, but I had a budgeting channel previously and I grew pretty quickly, pretty early on, and we had a really great community, but I had shared my channel with a family friend, not thinking much about it. And I think out of support, that person had invited a lot of people to watch the video, just like trying to support. I like wholeheartedly think the intentions were good, but a couple family members had eventually caught wind and things had gotten a little bit like uncomfortable and tense. And then once I thought I rectified that issue, I'd like blocked certain people and kind of like continued to cash budget on my channel, but I still had friends and family who were watching. And I think with, the best of intentions, I was getting a lot of questions as to like why I was doing certain things, why I was saving for certain things, strong opinions about what I should or shouldn't be doing. And then just in general, like questions that, again, were probably good natured, but was just like, what is this? Why do so many people watch this? Like, why is this a thing? Why are you doing this? And if they would see like a video did well, like I'd get several thousand views on a video, and then instead of like encouragement, it was kind of like, why is that so popular? Like, what's the big deal about this? And like, again, I think the intentions were good, but it just got to a point where I just felt really uncomfortable. Like I just knew that there were friends and family members that like were seeing it and like had their opinions on it. And it kind of like made it really hard for me to like want to sit down and do it. So I was just trying to figure out different ways to budget. For a while I was doing like electronic cash budgeting, if you will, where instead of having physical envelopes, I just had multiple savings accounts with my bank and I would just put money, like deposit money into those accounts. But eventually things got kind of jumbled up, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I think there was a level of accountability. Number one, having my YouTube channel kind of held me accountable, because on the days where I was feeling kind of spendy or irresponsible, I knew that if I like wiped all my envelopes, I'd have to explain it to y'all. So there was a level of accountability there. Plus I just had a really great community and they were like cheering me on and I was cheering them on. So I wanted to save, I wanted to do well. And I had to restart a couple of times just because life threw things my way. But in general, it was just like so much encouragement that I wanted to sit down and budget. But also there's some sort of motivation that I get from like the tangible cash versus the digital. It just wasn't as real, I guess, in my mind. And I just didn't feel as motivated to continue when I was doing like the electronic budgeting. Something about my brain physically seeing the cash makes it real for me. And I don't know, I just get a better like serotonin boost when when I see the cash add up in front of me. So fast forward to now, it's been a couple years and we're kind of just willy-nilly with the budget right now. We're doing well. We have savings, all our bills are paid. So it's not like we're in a crisis, but I have noticed that we're like very close to kind of paycheck to paycheck, and we shouldn't be. My husband and I make comfortable amounts of money. We are blessed to be in a situation where we don't have to pay like rent or mortgage. We've also paid off all of our vehicles, so we don't have a car payment. And we just really have like electric, groceries. We do have 3 kids, so they're still expensive. There's still things to pay, but a lot of the big stressors that we had even just a few years ago are not like prevalent anymore. I think because of that, we've just laxed so much on our budget, and I just think that we could be doing so much more and so much better, especially right now where times are kind of uncertain. And like, who's to say one of us doesn't lose our job, or with inflation continuing, things just becoming more and more expensive. Just in general, I really am feeling a lot of like pressure and desire to just reel it in and be a little more cognizant of what we're spending. It's one of those things where, once we put money into savings and once the bills are paid, we kind of just do whatever we want with the rest. Then like at the end of the month, we're like, where did all of it go? What did we do? You know what I mean? So I just want to reel that in. I want to get a little more strategic with my money, but also just more aware and cognizant of what's being spent and how I could better utilize it. And I've also noticed that my kids are kind of getting used to us like saying yes to everything, or us just randomly spending money all the time. And so now I've noticed that, like, as I'm trying to be a little more aware and a little less spendy, I notice them kind of not knowing what to do, not knowing how to have fun without us going somewhere and spending things. Like, I don't know. I just want to change the dynamic in general, not just for me and my husband, but also for my kids, and just reel things in a little bit. So I decided to come back, start a whole fresh new channel, just so that I could be comfortable and know that I'm not being like watched by certain individuals that I don't really want to be watched by. The names are very similar from my last channel to this channel, but it's different enough to where I know it won't be searched by those individuals. And also, they're not YouTube people. I think they were only on just because a link was shared with them, if that makes sense. So they clicked the link and then just like followed along by clicking on that link. It's not like they were like searching me up. And I would highly doubt that now that they've seen that that channel's been like ended, I don't think they'd be on here like seeing if I've reworded the name. So I feel comfortable and excited to just kind of like re-embark on this journey, a fresh start, and get our finances just a little bit under control and figure out what we're doing here. So I want to share my setup with you guys. I'm going way more simple than I did the first time around. The first time around, I bought like the Budget Moms planner, and I had a bunch of different binders and just a bunch of different like things that I bought. This time around, I'm just starting off really simple with materials I already had in the house. I made the envelopes and I made other little things to kind of help out. And I'm just keeping it super duper simple right now. And then if I feel like I need something, then I'll buy it as I need it. Even though, like, savings challenges are super fun, like little scratch offs and stuff, I'm trying to like focus on the point and get myself back into the habit of cash budgeting first before I dive in to like the fun scratch off savings challenges and stuff like that. So not to say I won't ever buy pretty envelopes or I won't ever buy fun challenges, but for right now, I'm just trying to get myself back into the groove of paying attention to my spending and keeping myself, reeled in. There are a few things I want to go over first. Just ignore this. This is my planner. It's not even July 15th right now. I don't even know what date it is. It's still in July, but we're past the 15th. But anyway, I just opened to a blank page to write this down so I could just go over a couple of things. Ignore everything else. It's completely irrelevant to this. So, debt. My husband and I don't have a lot of debt. We've luckily never really gotten into like heavy credit card usage or anything like that. And over the past couple of years, we've been working on paying off debt, and we've done a really great job. I'm proud of us for it. So luckily, there's not a ton of debt that we need to work on. Most of the debt that I'd be paying off are just like old collections accounts that were like old medical bills that I just never paid that eventually I need to pay. And then I do have a credit card that has a $2,000 balance, $2,075 balance that I would like to pay off. And I also have a care credit card, I guess, that's got a balance of $2,000 that I would like to pay off. And then I have $35,000 of student loans, which sucks because I never even finished it, so I never actually got the degree. But I have to pay $35,000. So I'll be honest with you, I have not been prioritizing my student loans at all. It just, I don't know. In my mind, I'm just trying to get myself to take it seriously, and I just haven't. So I will work on it, but it's not priority. It's like when payments are due, I'll make the payment, but my top priorities are paying off anything else. I honestly haven't pulled my credit report in about 2 years, maybe close to 3 years. And then if there's something like, oh, it's like $200 here or there, like it's a $150 medical bill, okay, like I've paid that, but I don't know what all is on my credit anymore. These two are things I want to pay like in the short term, like within the next 6 months or less. And then once I pay these two off, I'm going to pull my credit report and see what all is on there and pay anything on there first. And then once all of that is taken care of, that's when I'll start making like more significant payments towards my student loans. That's just what I've decided to do. I know a lot of people don't agree with it, and that's fine, but that's still what I'm just deciding to do. If it changes, I'll let you know. My short-term priorities. At first I was thinking like a year or less, but then once I wrote them all down, it's actually like 6 months or less. So in the next 6 months, these are the things that I'm heavily focusing on. So you'll notice that like as I'm budgeting money, I'm kind of dumping more into these things than I would any other time of the year. Disney is a trip I've wanted to take with my girls for so long. We went to Epcot like right before COVID. It was like the December before COVID hit. What was that, like 2019 or 2018 or 19? But my oldest wasn't with me, and my youngest was only like 2 or 3. And so she doesn't remember it. My oldest wasn't there. My middle like barely remembers it. Like she'll remember if she sees pictures, but it's just not fresh. You know, I've wanted to kind of have a redo with everybody there, everybody kind of old enough to enjoy it and remember it. So I'm like, okay, February 2026 is when we're going. I enjoy Florida more in the wintertime because it's warm but not hot. When we went to Disney, we went at the end of December, and it was perfect weather. It did rain on the day that we went to Epcot, but even that wasn't like horrible. But it was like warm without being hot. You could walk around without getting hot. You didn't have to bundle up or anything, but you also just weren't blazing. And so I feel like anytime past February, it starts getting pretty hot. And I don't know, I just don't want to be walking around with 3 kids in the heat and things getting miserable. So that gives me like 4 or 5 months to save $5,000 so that we can go. So like right now it's July, we're starting our budget August 1st. So that's August, September, October, November, December, and January. So that gives me 6 months to save $5,000 to go to Disney. Christmas obviously is coming up. We're rounding the corner, which is crazy. So I like to save at least $500 per child. I have 3 kids, so that's $1,500. That is just kind of like the marker that we've put. And so I have until December to save $1,500 for Christmas. Birthday season's coming up. Our birthdays are like back to back. So we have one in November, one in December, one in January. So again, I like to save about $500 per kid. I don't always spend that for their birthdays, but I like to have that amount in case anybody wants to do like a party. Specifically my youngest, like one year did a Chuck E. Cheese party, and we ended up spending like, I want to say it was like $300 or so for the Chuck E. Cheese party. And then of course buying a cake and then maybe a small gift. So that gave me like a buffer, you know what I mean? Even then I don't think we went over 500, but it was close. It was like 450 or something. And yeah, so I have that buffer. I give them the option, either a party or cash. I usually give them like 150 in cash, a small gift, and their cake if they don't do a party. So there are times where I don't even spend remotely close to $500 on the birthdays, but I like to have at least $500 saved for each kiddo. That way, if they want to have a party, I'm not pulling from anything else. I'm not stressing it. I know like, okay, that is your reasonable max. Like if it's anything that's going to cost more than that, we need to talk about it. You know what I mean? And then car maintenance. My car is starting to get up there in miles now. And so we're having to do a lot of little maintenance to it more routinely than I'm used to. And so I want to start saving up. There is a part that needs to be replaced here soon. It's not urgent, but it's one of those things where it's like, you want to get it done as soon as you can kind of thing. I think the part's only like $200, and my husband and I, for the most part, have been doing a lot of maintenance ourselves. Luckily, my husband's really good with that and can do almost anything. There are certain things we do take it to the shop for, but for the most part, everything that's needed to be done, he's been able to do, and some of it I've even been able to learn and do myself. So it saves us a ton of money, but I do just know that we're coming up on some maintenance that's going to be needed. So I do want to start bracing myself for that. So within the next 6 months, I know at least $500, but I probably will start putting more into that fund just to have it as a like rainy day, just in case things hit the fan. More longer term goals, so like 6 months or more, I want our savings to get to at least $6,500, which is roughly 3 months worth of expenses, including groceries. So I would love to be able to contribute a little more to our savings. We have had situations where we've had to tap into savings, and so obviously our savings took a hit. So I just kind of want to bump it back up and kind of maintain 6,500. You know, we can put more into that, that'd be awesome. But worst case scenario, 65 like minimum. I also want to just pay off all the little debts. In my head, I'm not necessarily talking student loans. I more so mean all of the anything else outside of student loans, anything else, any little medical bills that are out there, any like the credit cards or whatever that's out there, just anything else that's on my credit outside of my student loans. I just want it paid and taken care of so that all I have is my student loans. Of course, eventually I want to pay that off too, but within the next like 6 months to a year, I would love to have all of the other debts paid off and like the whole slate clean, and then all I have to focus on is my student loans. That would be awesome. So that's what I mean by total debt payoff. And then of course within the next few years, hopefully I can get this paid off. But for now, within like 6 months to a year, I want everything else paid off. And then my oldest, she's 15 and a half now. So we're getting into like the driving age. We have about a year before she's old enough for a driver's license. So I do want to start saving up to get her a car. Of course, if I can pull off the entire thing, awesome. If not, it would be more so like a solid down payment, just as much as I can save up until she needs the car. So those are kind of longer term. I have about a year to handle that. So these are the things I'm focusing on. I just wanted to throw that out there so that you can kind of get an idea of like what's going on and what the goals are here. And now I'm going to show you my setup and supplies. So I just printed these off and laminated them. This is just what I'm going to use each time to figure out how much I'm putting in each envelope, and then how many of each denomination I need, and then of course the cash breakdown, just so that I could take it to the bank and know exactly what I need to break down. So I just kind of created something, laminated it, and that's what I'll be using. If that changes and I need something else, of course, you know, can always change it. For now, I'll also be using this Filofax wallet. I bought this several years ago and I still have it, so I'm using it again. And inside are all of my envelopes. I just quickly made these up. I think they turned out really cute though. I don't have any issues with these. I don't feel like, oh, they're ugly and I can't wait to get new ones. Like, I think they're kind of cute. I'm just keeping everything in one wallet for right now. If I feel like I need to separate them out, then I will. The only thing I could think of is that as they get chunkier, obviously it's going to be harder to keep in this wallet. So the wallet is probably not going to be a forever thing. I will probably eventually need at least two, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We're using what we got right now. The categories we're going to be stuffing are groceries, my personal spending, our household expenses. The ones that don't have these trackers in it, I'm just not going to track. It's stuff that we're going to be pulling money in and out of so often that there's just no point in tracking it. I'm more so tracking things that will accumulate or are like long-term savings. So with these, we're not really going to be like tracking them. We're just going to be stuffing it. Car expenses, business expenses. I do have a couple different streams of income. I resell used books, and I also am getting back into reselling clothing. It was something that I did a few years ago when I was a stay-at-home mom, and it was pretty good, like part-time income. And it was also just really, really fun. So I'm getting back into that on top of starting another business that sells like candles and other handmade goods. So I have a few different like businessy things, I guess, as like side income. So all of that will be wrapped into one. So whatever I stick in here could go to any of those things. What kids' birthdays, again, like I said, just specific to my kids' birthdays. So whatever goes in here is specifically for the kids, not for anybody else. Just making sure I have enough for their gifts and their parties and stuff like that. Miscellaneous gifts and giving is more for like other people's birthdays. If we're invited to a birthday party and we buy a gift, if it's like my mom's birthday, my husband's birthday, or just miscellaneous giving. Like if I give somebody $10 on the street, or if I, treat somebody at the coffee shop or something like that, those sorts of things will come from this envelope. Christmas is self-explanatory. And then dollar savings. One of the things I really loved before was like just taking all the extra single dollars and sticking them in here and just saving them up. And then figuring out what to do with it once it gets full, like whether I put it in my kids' savings, whether I put it in my savings, whether we put it towards vacations. I would switch it up each time, but I really had fun with that, and it does add up so fast. So like any dollars, like single dollars that are left after you spend on groceries or your personal spending or whatever else, you just pull those out and stick them in here instead of rolling them over. It adds up super fast and it's really fun. So I did that again. I really enjoy doing that. Business taxes, this one got super bubbly and it's annoying me, but I did not want to redo it. So anyway, again, as I sell stuff, I need to set some money aside for the taxes. I'll be honest, I have not been good with that at all. So I might have to go back and figure out what has sold since January and then put that in here. I will say I have not been on top of my game so far this year with the books. The clothing, I actually am just starting back up after a few years, so I haven't even sourced clothing yet. I've been focusing so much on starting my handmade business that I have not really been sourcing books or listing books or anything like that. So to be honest with you, I probably don't owe a lot in taxes so far this year, but I should go back and figure out roughly what I've made and just throw that in here so that I'm prepared. I would just want to get in a better habit of that. Yeah, anyway, business taxes, vacation is self-explanatory. Debt is self-explanatory. And then my kids' savings, this is just additional savings for them. I figure it can't hurt. They have high yield savings accounts. And so as I accumulate money, I'm just gonna stick it in their high yield savings. And it'll just be extra money kind of on top of the money we've already saved for them. And some of our family members have actually already started saving for them as well. So they have other savings accounts, but this would kind of be more so like if they want to get their first apartment, or they want to furnish the apartment, or I don't know, whatever. It's like more accessible in a high yield savings, I feel, than it is for like CDs or IRAs or other like trust funds that they have that like just have more stipulations and are kind of harder to tap into for like the small everyday things. And so I just thought it would be nice for them to have something that's just a little more accessible. And so that's what this is. I'm not like aiming for a certain amount. It's just kind of like throwing a little extra here and a little extra there and, letting it ride. So kiddo 1, kiddo 2, and kiddo 3. And that would be their savings. So those are all the envelopes that I'll be stuffing on a regular basis. And then I'm pulling out my trusty old 52-week challenge. I got this from Luxe Designs years ago. I don't even know if that company is still in business. If they are in business, I don't even know if this is still available. But I bought this years ago and I've just kept it. I got rid of everything else, which is really sad, but for some reason I just could not get rid of this. So I'm really glad that I at least did not get rid of this. But all it is just like your typical 52-week challenge. Each envelope just has a number on it. So this one you'll put $1 in, and you just put that amount for each week. So eventually you'll get to week 25, you'll put $25 in. And at the end of your 52 weeks or your year, you'll have $1,378 saved up. I'm starting this in August. So my 52 weeks obviously is not going to be like a picture perfect year since I'm not starting Jan 1, but that's okay. 52 weeks is 52 weeks. It's all good. So we'll be starting this August 1st, and I'm really excited about it. So that's it. This is kind of the introduction and overview of my budgeting setup. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know how y'all are doing on your budgets or how you set your budgeting system up. If you have any tips or tricks or just motivating words, absolutely share them with me. I would love the motivation. I would love to keep each other accountable. So hang out with me in the comments, say hi, let me know a little bit about yourself, and let's just keep each other motivated. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank y'all so much for spending a little bit of time with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you're doing well and taking really good care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, y'all.